Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Offensive Zone show with myself, Ian, and I am joined by returning guest host, Shelley M.
Hi.
And the man who is the gap between Neanderthal and modern man. It's the caveman.
Hello,
welcome back.
Guys. Thank you.
Good to have you back, mate. How's the trip to Spain?
It was good. Yeah, we came third in the tournament, but it was a bit of bullshit in the semi-finals. Cost us the final. Like, we were the best.
There goes a clean episode.
Oh, sorry. Oh, do you have to be clean?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, but like we were there in the semi-final. 2 minutes left, down by a goal, and one of our best forward breaks his stick, and they call a penalty on him because he broke his stick and he supposedly tried to play the putt with a broken stick, even though he dropped it straight away. 1 goal down, 2 minutes left, basically screwed us in. It's after that game, we didn't bother playing the third and fourth game. We just went to the pub. So yeah.
There you go, professional elites to the end.
We got our funding re-upped as well for next season for coming third in a beer league tournament essentially. So happy days. So
that's a good little setup there, mate. So obviously this week we haven't got a beer league because we haven't got Tom. So Tom unfortunately is not with us this week.
but back to normal next week, isn't it?
Back to normal next week, yeah. So, and we've got a trade special next week. We're going to be recording our episode as late as possible on Monday the 26th.
Yeah, I've got half a day that day. Half a day at work that day.
Have you got half a day just because of that?
Yeah, because it starts at, like 2 o'clock our time. Mm-hmm. Usually I used to book a day off or have a day off when I was self-employed. But now I'm working the weekend, so I can get half a day off on Monday, so I can watch it. And then I'll be the UK NHL insider for the day.
Well, I hope so, because the rest of us are at work. So when we come to record, I'm hoping that you'll fill us in. So talking of trades, we had the first blockbuster trade of February.
Blockbuster, it was 2010.
Yeah. 2012 draft. We had Phaneuf, who obviously has been setting the world alight in Ottawa, swapped with Gabrick, who, same statement, just change artwork for Kings.
Didn't he score in his first game though?
For Ottawa, he did, yes.
Yeah.
So doesn't mean anything.
One deal,
yeah. Well, so he's well worth 5.6 million, whatever it is. And then we had Thompson and Shaw swapping his partner as well.
Yeah.
So when I first looked at it, I thought, this is not trade, because they were talking about them being crap and wanting to get better, and you'd assume by better they'd mean younger, quicker, more skilled. And then they go get Shaw, who is neither of any of those things.
He's the fourth
and Gabrick, who is at the same end of the candle as Phaneuf, just on about $1 million less.
Yeah. So that's the thing with the deal. There's Malnick there in the backgrounds, counting his pennies, and he's he's happy because Gabrick's probably getting paid less than Phaneuf, so he's probably saving $500,000 or something, and he's thinking about
what can he use it on?
Yeah.
Hopefully Carlson, if he's got any sense.
Wow.
Because what I heard was that although the average salary cap hit in the trade is virtually identical, because although Gabrick's on less than Phaneuf, Ottawa were retaining some of the salary cap anyway. It was literally about swapping somebody who's getting paid a lot per year for someone who isn't, even though there's no cap change. And like you said, it's just the owner trying to save some bucks.
How the contracts are made up, isn't it? So front loaded, and Gabrick's was front loaded, and Phaneuf's is just steady all the way through. So I don't know if it's that numbers, but Gabrick's probably only
steady and shy.
But have either of them actually gained, as in financially?
No.
From that at all?
No. Not. Well, LA probably have to a degree because they wanted another D-man, and Gabrick was probably playing 1 in 5 games or something. He was on the press box, and I think Phaneuf will probably play, and they might pair him up with, I don't know, Martinez or something, and it might work, but it's still Phaneuf is a pylon. So
there you go.
I seen on
pylon,
on Twitter somebody said they should have traded into like Montreal because Montreal's horrific for like their construction street like just road construction, and we said, we could have used him in Montreal just to be standing fucking roads. So
so it's a bit of a shame really that we're so many days into February and that's the only. Obviously, there was one other trade that happened.
St. Louis got
Shishnikov or whatever it is from Toronto.
After Toronto were trying to fiddle the books as per trying to get him because they over the maximum. They do all the time. They've got they call it Loophole Island or something like that.
Loophole, yeah.
And they just and they've managed to get rid of all these aging contracts, kind of like Chicago with Hosa, but.
Not going to bite.
They managed. They had their 50 maximum contracts, and then he went down to the AHL, was dominating, and then you're back on IR for I don't know, might have been a week or something, and then they managed to trade him. I think he'll do right in St. Louis, but he's
good pick for them.
Yeah.
So they only gave up a fourth round, and it might even be conditional.
Yeah.
So
if he re-signs or something with them,
probably.
Yeah.
And then Chicago, obviously, as we know, have been going through some troubles. We'll come to that in a minute. But then they traded Poca, who was a defenseman who was a RFA at the end of the year, for Chris Domenko or D. Domenko.
Yeah, Chris Domenico. He's been going up and down on waivers all year.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I haven't got excited about it, put it that way.
No,
I felt with joy. So.
I don't understand it. Maybe that's because they're going to trade a few forwards and they need a bit more depth later on in the season. You don't know. There's always something.
Maybe.
Like Stan Bowman, he's a smart guy, even though he gives out terrible contracts. But he might have something up his sleeve. So.
Yeah. I agree. And which is the thing that made me laugh about Ottawa. Because I think if you're a GM and you're going to trade, you need some sort of game plan. The game plan needs to be any trade that I do needs to be about getting quicker, or any trade that I do needs to be about being more skilled, or it needs to be. It needs to have picks in it, or whatever that might be, whatever your trade block or whatever it is might say. But that Ottawa trade was like just lose money.
Yeah, Ottawa's just want to lose cash.
Just lose cash.
Yeah. Wow. Gain cash for the owner's pocket. He's now the CEO as well. So.
Yeah, I heard that. So he promoted himself. That must have been a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, because I didn't even catch it, and I just seen an article that he'd named himself a new CEO. So he probably saves himself more money there as well because he doesn't have to pay
expenses,
CEO.
Mate.
Yeah,
probably expenses. Yeah,
and soon. Have you ever watched the film Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell?
Yes.
Yeah,
and he's going to be, after he trades Carlson, he's going to be the captain, the coach, the general manager. He's going to be everything. Can you put?
Oh man, I just think it would be a better trade if in that trade they'd have gone, we're getting Gabrick short and Will Ferrell. So, but there we go. Right, moving on to semi-pro, the Olympics. So, has anybody been watching any of it?
I've been watching bits and bobs because of the time of them. I've been following them on Twitter mainly, just scrolling through my phone, seeing the odd goal here and there, but not really much. It's been a bit weird, the BBC coverage this year has, because whenever it's the Summer Olympics, you press the red button, you have hundreds of choices where you can watch somebody shot put or cycle, whatever else they do. And then this one, you press red button, you can watch curling,
figure skating.
That's it. Yeah. And you don't have any choice.
That much of that either.
So we're gonna quickly take a very sideways swipe here. I'm aware that we've got something that we talked about before we came on air. And hello, by the way, to anybody who's listening to us on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. By the way, so for you guys that are listening on that radio station, obviously you're not going to be from the UK, so which means that you don't know how awful BBC Sports can be. So we've got a little clip here, and this is. This makes me feel sad to be British, to be honest. But if you just play it, then people will understand why.
Okay.
I do feel for Finland, though, having chucked everybody on with no goalkeeper. USA then score in the last minute of the game. Did you see that cameraman on skates as well?
You forget about how this is filmed. How talented is that cameraman? Not only has he got to film with the action, but dodge all the skaters, and those are aggressive.
Now, I'm assuming you've tried ice hockey.
I love ice hockey. Yeah, I'm
I think we've heard enough, haven't we?
Yeah. It would be quite entertaining if there was a cameraman on the ice, just dodging around.
Can I just say who those are? You had one of the ladies who is a presenter, and you also And you,
Shit.
yeah, and you also had the second woman who was talking in there about the cameraman on ice, who is a downhill skier.
So they know what they're talking about. So
Yeah.
at least, yeah.
We've got the experts, right? They might as well have been us. Like,
Yeah, because I don't understand how hard it must be to have asked somebody who regularly knows what they're talking about of ice hockey, even like with British
Wow.
help, just to come over like a retired player and just talk about it like a bit. But instead they have this downhill skier saying like, "Oh, I can't believe they have cameramen bloody skating around." So you think like other sports they have cameramen like. I don't know, the downhill skiing, there's a cameraman just skiing backwards.
Doing the same flips.
Just have a cameraman win gold. It's ahead of whoever wins it. Like,
it's utter bullshit.
Painful.
And this is why, when people probably hear like how I got into hockey, or hear when we were talking about why it's depressing that there's no real coverage of the Elite League here, that clip is a little snippet of the kind of crap that we have to put. Thank God the internet exists and we've got other avenues to watch this shit, because these people, oh my God.
Some of
Anyway.
the other channels, though, haven't been much better with some of the coverage that they've given. Like,
No.
I've managed to see probably
20
two little bits of some of the women's games, which haven't been bad at all. And then the third periods of some of the men's, and that's all we're getting.
So
and that's
today
on,
it
that's on
was-
Eurosport.
Yeah. So today I got to watch the third, like Sweden versus Finland's like one of the big rivalries in international hockey, and I got to watch the last 15 minutes
Yeah,
of the third period.
we
You
watched
watched
the
it
same.
then?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and it was a really good 15 minutes, but I would have liked to see the rest of the game. But
Exactly, and that's what really bugs me. Because I've been honest, right, whether Great Britain win a medal or not, I couldn't give a rat's ass about curling. It's not fun to watch. It's boring.
I
It
don't
might
know.
be very fun to play.
I'll get pretty like I was curling. I've been hooked on, but bobsleigh,
Have
yeah, I don't know why. It's
Oh,
like
see, I
it's like
like
bowls.
bobsleigh.
But Bob's saying, I don't know.
And you got
like,
hooked
this
on
is
bowls.
but this is again to a thing, like when it's the Summer Olympics, you have all these options. You can watch whatever you want.
Red button.
Red button. This, you press the red button. It's either like, oh, you can watch curling. That's it. And you don't have any other options. It's the Olympics. Like BBC probably pay however many millions to get the rights to show the Olympics, and they're just doing a half-assed effort to do it.
And that's the snippet we get. To
Yeah.
then be followed on by the woman who was talking at the end of that clip then goes on to say the reason why she loves ice hockey so much is because there's so much contact in it, when she's talking about when she played. Well, she obviously doesn't know what she's talking about, because the female game is non-contact.
Exactly.
So, well, it's not. I say non-contact. It's not hitting anyway. Put it that
Yeah,
way.
you rub somebody out, but
Yeah,
it's not like...
it's not the contact that she's making out.
Yeah, she's making out somebody's going
Everyone
to
goes
get
around like
Cromwelled or something, yeah.
To be honest, put in the same room as her, I'd like to give it a go. But
She's just...
Make sure the cameraman's there. Right, so talking of the Olympics though, that leads me on to the last bit, which is the squads. Okay, so I was really excited about this Olympics because I thought NHL players aren't going to be there, so we're going to get to see some of the kids that are going to be coming up in the draft in 2018. And and that hasn't happened.
No.
I've seen the American squad, and it's crap.
They've got a couple of young kids in there. Like
Gionta?
Yeah, Gionta.
What?
He's rumoured to be signing a deal once
With Canadians?
No, I hope not. But like, he's a nice guy. He was always a good captain. But Jesus, we need. But Alfie doesn't want Gionta either.
no.
Alfred, please be quiet, mate. We don't need you in the podcast, thanks.
But like they've got like that Jordan
I'm
Greenway.
going to have to cut that.
They've got Jordan Greenway, who's looked like he's a young kid who's Minnesota draft pick, and he's really good. And he looked good at last year's. But I think that might be one of the only kids.
Isn't Troy Terry there as well?
Yeah, and Danto. So there's a few kids on the American roster, but then they've got like Gionta and they've got sort of like
Roy.
Derek Roy. Like, they've been doing alright, like, but then they
Have
they go and get spanked by Russia.
4-0.
4-0, and
Yeah.
it was. But then I wanted to see the up and comers like But I guess that's why you watch like the World Juniors and World
Yeah, but
Championships.
isn't that what the Olympics is supposed to be for, though? Isn't it supposed to be for the kids who...
Originally, years ago, and then because it was meant to be for amateurs, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
then the NHL had an agreement and all that. But like, I mean, you see Sweden, they have like Rasmus Dahlin was a healthy scratch first game, you like, and they're paying him like 4 minutes a period or something. You're like, come on, he's probably their best defenseman, and they're just because he's young and he's got a cage on. I think he might try something flashy. They don't put him on it.
Good.
Just,
That's what I want to see.
I know, yeah. You want to see the best of the best.
They're playing well, though.
Well, yeah.
The Swedes are.
The Swedes are.
Sweden,
There's a solid
Finland
unit.
game was
Their goalie was still ahead. And then Sweden were lucky. He says that young kid who was playing in the KHL, Finnish kid, I can't remember his name, he's been lining it up and he looked really good. But I think he's a natural draft pick. Or I think he's a natural draft pick or something like that. Or
one of the defensemen playing as the Dallas draft pick.
Yeah.
Who was in number 4
See, like, the Finlands are playing their youth a bit. They might not have won them all, but they've... I'd rather see that, and I'd rather see Canada, but just send out a bloody junior team.
But
essentially, obviously they'd probably get spanked though. So
think of the picks that we've got that are coming up like this year, and you've got Brady Tkachuk. You know, you've got that Quinton Hughes, all those sorts of people, Yanks and Canadians who I want to see them there, because before they get drafted, I'm not realistically going to have a chance to see them.
No, nobody's watching college hockey or junior hockey over
not
in the UK.
I know,
particularly, it's probably impossible to find.
The thing is, as well, though, are they, depending on obviously what the NHL does with the next Olympics, are they going to be allowed to play then?
Well, when they were going through...
Have they then lost their chance of actually playing in the
Yeah,
Olympics?
because the reason why the players who have already been signed by their teams but then were put down to the farm teams,
they were allowed to go.
They weren't allowed to go, I thought, because they're NHL contracts.
There was Victor Mete, who was going to come to... after the World Juniors, they were going to send him back down to juniors so he could go play for Canada at the Olympics, but then Shea Weber got injured and they thought, well, he's probably better than any other defenseman on our team, so we need him. So, I don't know, it was a tricky one, but they like the Olympic committee or whatever was saying to the NHL, like the IOC was saying to the NHL, like, if you don't come to these Olympics, you're not going to Beijing or wherever it is. So, I don't... Another argument in 4 years, probably. And then, you see what Ovechkin said about Gary Bettman? He said Darren Dreger was interviewing him. He said, "Oh, you're going to watch any of Olympic hockey?" And he goes, "Oh, I watch Russia, and that's it. But I wish I was there." Something along these lines. And then this Darren Dreger asked him a question. And he went, "Thanks, Benham," and just walked away like.
So he was really chuffed.
Yeah,
to not be there. They've got a pretty good team though, Russia.
Yeah,
got Kovalchuk and Datsuk.
Yeah, Datsuk.
That's like worth watching on its own.
Yeah, and what he scored, he nearly scored a hat trick again the other day, Kovalchuk. And they've got that Kirill Kapinov, I think, and he or was it? I don't even know if that's his name.
They got another person playing as well who we were talking about last week.
And he played, but he played. I think he's a Minnesota draft pick as well, and he was at the World Juniors. He looked like I think it was one McDavid was at him. It was him, and then McDavid was like way back behind him. He was amazing, and he's lining up in the KHL. And he's only 19 years old, I think, and he's unbelievable. But I can't remember his name.
That's not the St. Louis one.
No, that's Costin, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he plays in Minnesota. He doesn't play for Minnesota. He plays in Russia somewhere.
I'm just going to go on record to apologise to the entire Russian nation for horrendously pronouncing every single one of their names. Oh well, most of our second names are like Thomas. I mean, we've got no chance with those ones.
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, or Smith. So there was one other person playing, and we noticed his name, didn't we? Straight away.
We did.
Voinov.
Yeah,
who's playing there as well. But anyway, there's enough. We said enough about him last time. So I think that's enough on the Olympics. This takes us on to the next bit. We've got another little snippet here. So Chicago finally won a game. Had to be done. Because it is so true. And we didn't just win the game. I'm going to play this the whole way through. We had to wait weeks.
Oh, you guys were terrible.
Yeah, for that. So
they were terrible.
Oh yeah, we're terrible. Yeah.
I think Montreal could have beat them on the road. I think they've only won 12 road games this season, and I think we would have beat you. at the United Centre, wherever it is.
To be fair, I honestly thought we'd lost that many games. I thought Stan Bowman been to see them all and gone, lads, come on, we're not going to get in the playoffs anymore. Let's go for that first overall, because they literally died a death.
It's like I was seeing there's a video of their back check on it was a 3-on-1, and there's just Patrick Kane just gliding back, and you're gee, they've dialed it in, and there's still 25 games left. And
that was quite a few games recently, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just when they quit, and I feel bad because he's going to come down on the Joe Quenneville's neck probably. He's probably
not this year.
He might be a scapegoat if they struggle next year, and or Stan Bowman. Obviously, he hasn't made good decisions all the time, but he's still built a Stanley Cup winner, didn't he? And
3 times.
And the players seem to have quit on the people who essentially got them there. Obviously, the players get them themselves there, but
I think so. Yeah,
you have to put them together, and you have to do the right systems, and quit on them, which is a bit out of order.
I mean, what made me laugh was that I was on some of the forums this morning, and the whole mentality shifted. And you think, guys, it's a game.
Yeah.
One game where Holtby,
it was dog shit.
You might have had those holes, when you buy those practice nets that have the wooden bit with
holy
the holes
goalie.
Holy goalie, yeah. That would have been more. Actually, the holy goalie would have saved the first shot, whereas he didn't.
Oh, that was shocking.
I mean, Taves has never scored an easier goal in his life. He was quite clearly going for a rebound there, and when it went in, I thought, okay, take it.
See, Holtby, I think he's a good. He always has the save percentage, but Washington are always usually a reasonably good team, both ends of the ice, and I think his stats are quite padded, but I just don't rate him. I just don't rate him that much. So.
Let's see. A couple of weeks in Spain, he's come back with low one-liners. I don't want to talk a lot about Chicago, because the special episode we did last week pretty much summed up why we are where we are. And if anybody thinks that a 6-7 or whatever the hell the victory was last night,
6, wasn't it?
Is it 6-2 or 6-1? Anyway, whatever the victory was last night, if they think that changes our direction, it doesn't. No. So I'd love to think it does. Don't get me wrong, I'm as biased as they come, but even I'm not that blinking.
It happens in Montreal all the time. It makes you laugh. You'll see fans 2 days before a game begging they lose the game because they want to get Rasmus Dahlin or a top 5 pick or something. Mm-hmm. And the game will face off, and then Montreal concede a goal within 10 minutes. And then all these fans are crying that they want to lose, are crying because they're losing. And you're
booing them.
Make your fucking minds up. And it just it grinds my gears.
The thing is, this year, the top 10 draft picks, projected draft picks, I'll add that caveat in, right, are bloody good. This isn't like previous years.
There's the top 3 who are really good.
Yeah.
And then the next 7 are
solid afterwards.
Yeah.
Because, your top 3 is clearly going to be Shevnikov, Tkachuk, and Darwin.
I don't know. There might be that Sadin or whatever his name is.
Yeah, the one who's played Czech Republic. Yeah.
He might be
there. I think it is. Yeah.
Or they might even take another demon.
You've got Hughes, as we were talking about earlier. But I think you've got. It's a good year to be shit.
After the first overall, I don't think anybody knows the order what it's going to be, which makes it interesting for everyone, really.
So talking of one awful team, I will go to another. So obviously we've got the caveman back after hiatus. And we haven't had the chance to really talk about the Canadians while you've not been here. But the good news is they've carried on in the same way they were doing before you went on sabbatical. And that is crap. So
yeah, they've been.
What's your thoughts on where do you think they're going to do trade-wise? I was reading an interesting article the other day, and I want to know what your opinion is on where do you reckon they are come trade deadline? Are they buyers, sellers, wholesale?
I don't Bergevin before a couple of years ago when we were terrible, he did quite a good job selling what we had. We hijacked a nice second round pick and Dano from Chicago, to save a Dale Weasel, and we did well before. So I think maybe he knows what he's doing, but then there's rumours that he's thinking about re-signing Blakanitz. You might be able to get a third round pick for him now, yeah. And why are you going to re-sign him? And then we've hardly got any other UFAs. We've got Nick Delorier, he's come in, he's done well on the fourth line. He scored 6 goals, fourth liner, fair play. Might get a 6th round pick for him, but we just haven't got that much to sell with UFA rentals. But then there's the other stuff
I can say, what about your RFAs? What we've got in the RFA side?
I think we've got Philip Deneau as an RFA, but I think he's going to be our third line centre, hopefully for the next good few years, right? And then there's not really much. We signed Charlie Lindgren the other day, who's going to be our like $750K for 3 years.
It's going to be a starter by the way that price is going. So.
Yeah, well, I think he's gave up, and then I think the team in front of him gave up long before he did. So he's just had enough. Like last night, he made I think two quick saves, and then his D-man's on his arse and just slides a puck to a guy back door, and you just look at him, and he looks, am I going to try to blow him? I need to save this.
That's quite similar to what we have, though, isn't it? With Crawford, when Crawford plays, like the team just like a Dyer in front of him, and he's been trying his best to kind of keep it together. But I suppose Price is exactly the same. Yeah,
so he hasn't been himself this season, except from short little stints. But he shouldn't have to be he shouldn't have to be what we expect him to be, because what he's been before. Our defence hasn't been terribly good for 5 years, but Price has been a 94 save percentage goalie, so he's hit it. But yeah, back to the trades. I think I see Bergevin. He always says like little, I don't know, clues and stuff, but he just sends people the other direction. He says like, if you want loyalty, buy a dog, and then he trades somebody, or he says expect the unexpected and he acquires Jonathan Druins. You never know, but
it wasn't expected.
No, that wasn't. Because the year before it was expected, and then we're like, come on, we can do this, and nothing happened. And then the year after we do, and I still like that trade, regardless of what's happening.
I think it's all like a hindsight. There's a little quote that I remember. I think it was something I was watching where and it was after a hockey game, and someone said, "Hindsight never won you a game," and I think
hindsight's deadly, isn't it?
When people go back on trades, it's like, was it a good trade on the day it happened? Because if it ended up not being a good trade later, that doesn't matter. Because no one knew Druin wasn't going to fit. Maybe they did know that, but they certainly didn't know that Sergachev was going to suddenly be a top line D.
But when he's getting a healthy scratch the odd game here and there, and he's playing like, since Hedman's come back, he's playing with, I think he's like rotating in as a defenseman. You're like, he's not lighting up anymore. Like the last 20 games he has like 3 points and he's -10 or something. And you're like, oh well.
So he's having
and then nobody's saying anything. But the second he scores a goal, everybody's on Twitter saying, "Fuck Mark Bergevin, fire him." He's like, he traded away the best defenseman since Bobby Orr. And you're like, I have a day off. So,
oh, brilliant! And we're not even going to bring up the PK Subban and Weber trade. My opinion is, and this is why I thought the article was quite written quite well. Another one through the Athletic, by the way.
And Bassi, was it that one saying?
Yes, that was the one. And I thought it was great because it basically was saying any RFAs trade, but anybody like your Pacioretty, don't trade him now. Hold on. At the end of the season, you can trade. The only advantage to trading Pacioretty, I suppose, now is that because he's only got 1 year left. If you're a team that's a playoff team, you're thinking, well, actually, if I trade him now, I've got him for 2 playoffs.
I've got him essentially. I've got a rental, but then I've got a brand new player as well.
Exactly.
Come the summer, yeah. See, the only team I could see what that happening with is St. Louis, because they've got all the parts which Montreal are asking for, but I don't know if they're willing to trade them. They've got Jordan Kyrou, who's a young centreman who's lighting it up. They've got that Thomas, I can't remember his first name, but Thomas has been amazing. And then Montreal are asking for like a young top centre prospect, a first round pick, and a reasonably young player, just a roster player, and St. Louis could do it. And I think that's the only. I think if a trade like that happens, then you do it. But why not wait to the draft, like he says in the article? I mean, everybody's a buyer at the draft, aren't they? So because they haven't got just teams. I don't want to give him a first round pick where I don't know what it's worth yet.
Exactly, and you don't know what yours is worth yet.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody who's in the playoff. Everyone who's in the playoffs is not in this conversation. Anyone who's not in the playoffs, which is probably everybody that we're talking about here, is going to be in the draft lottery. And Rasmus Dahlin fixed a lot of problems for a lot of teams. So what you don't want to do is shoot yourself in the foot now, and then be like, oh, actually.
Yeah.
So, but there you go. I just thought I'd get your thoughts because it's been a few weeks since we spoke anyway. And
it'll be.
I haven't been able to rub it into how crap the Canadians have been.
I dialed it in a few weeks ago, a long time ago. I dialed it in. I think it was whenever they conceded a goal in the first month of the season, and then 10 seconds later they conceded another goal. I gave up then. I'm a good fan, but But
you are a loyal fan, to be fair.
I am a
Chris.
loyal fan. I
mate.
watch them still all the time, but not staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I just watch it the day after now. So
You found Call of Duty instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there you go. Well, we'll find out in the next episode when we do the trade thing anyway and see who's moved and who's not. But
it's going to be interesting.
Have you already booked the draft day off work?
No, I haven't got my login yet. So I will. I am going to book.
So boring for anyone listening.
I am going to book my draft day off.
I'm considering it this year, man. I'll wait until the draft lottery happens first, but then
because I've always been self-employed, so I could just have them off. But now I have to waste holiday. My girlfriend
do the same.
Dear
with
tax
everybody
man.
else.
Yeah, my girlfriend probably won't be happy about it, but she'll understand.
She'll
won't.
understand. She'll understand, mate. You'll be sleeping on the couch. That's what she'll understand. Right, so that's that one done. So talking of goaltenders, goaltender interference. We covered this just because you haven't listened to these episodes, Chris, which is horrific, by the way. I might point out that you don't listen to our podcast when you're not on it. And
I don't listen to it
when you are on it. I don't want that as well.
I skip past my bits because
You don't like your voice, do you?
my caveman voice.
You've got gravelly undertones, that's all it is. So the goaltender interference call was brought up at the All-Star game, and Bettman said, I'm going to very much summarise what he said, okay? He essentially said, I've solved it. Basically, unless it's blatant, the call on the ice will stand.
Yeah.
So we had a chat on a podcast and said, hey, look, this is probably going to work now. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, we'll end up talking about it again. Well, guess what? We're talking about it again because it didn't work. So what's happened is we've now gone the polar opposite, and now you can pretty much like skate from the blue line directly towards the goalie, just take him out, and the people are like, it's 50-50.
It's 50-50. He couldn't stop his defenseman pushed him in.
He wasn't going to save it anyway, and you're like, well, it's near me, probably wasn't.
But the defenseman pushing in thing does my head in. Like, if a defenseman literally touches a guy who's angling towards a goalie, he'll stack it. And then you take the goalie out and be like, oh, that defenseman blew on him, so it's contact, so he's fine that he dislocated somebody's knee and something.
I wasn't sure how to summarise this up, but Cam Talbot, and he's quite happily been quoted on this.
He wasn't best pleased, was he?
No, he wasn't chuffed. He summarised it as...
Okay, and I quote, "There's no consistency. I'm fucking sick of it. It's fucking ridiculous. You can quote me. They can fine me. I don't give a fuck anymore."
So
we quoted him.
We had quoted him, yeah, live. Well, not live.
He was not amused.
So, no, he wasn't chuffed. And as a fan, I'm watching it like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah,
like, I see like something where you're like, that's definitely goaltender interference, and they're going, the goal stands, and then I see something where I'm like, he's clearly not touched it. And then it is
so inconsistent.
The most baffling for me was last season. Like there was a 2-on-1, I think, Montreal against New York, and Jimmy Hayes maybe. I don't know if he played some back then, but he cut across the crease and his skate got wedged in between Carey Price's pads and his shorts.
Yeah,
and he dragged him 10 foot out of his goal. 10 foot out of his goal. It was an empty net, leg, and Rick Nash taps it in. And they're like, oh, and Rick Nash doesn't even celebrate hardly. He's like, surely not. And then they were reviewing it for ages because he wanted to see if his skate was inside of the crease when it hit him. And you're like, and I think he might have been out by, I don't know, 10 centimetres. And they're like, oh, no goal. You can just drag a goalie out by 10 foot. And then later on in that game, I think Gallagher is a bit of a pest. He's always in front of the goalie.
It's a good player.
I think he literally, his shoulder might have brushed on Lundqvist's arm. And they said, oh, that's not a goal because you kind of got closer. But if there's consistency and you appreciate, like you go, okay, it's just how it is. But it's just nothing.
The problem with those stories, Chris, is you can't come across as anything but slightly biased.
Oh, of course I am. But the thing is, I've seen it before when Gallagher's mowed somebody down and the goal's counted, and I'm like, oh, okay.
All right, yeah.
I'm happy the goal's counted, but it's a bit of bullshit, right?
So it's just funny because I haven't really got an answer to it. Like, there's no point in us talking about it on here for very length of time. The reality is, it's not going to change anything. The IHF rules, I think they're probably
a bit too extreme sometimes.
Exactly, because they maybe find a happy medium there. Yeah. I was also watching the other game, and Tom was talking about the little house. You know, we're talking about a house.
you are.
Now, every time I see the blue paint, I look at it and think, it does look like a house. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So, let's going to move on to this next bit, which is a little quiz for you two on goaltenders and goaltender stats. So
I feel like Chris has a slight advantage.
Yeah, if I lose now, then...
So I'm going to call out a goalie, and you're going to tell me what their current save percentage is.
Current save
Oh, that's
percentage. Can we have like...
ridiculous.
All year that is, by the way. It's not. It'll be closest to it.
83 is probably the highest anything's going to... No, 93 is probably going to be the highest anything's going to be. Because unless... It's...
Okay, right, tell you what. We'll do it easier then. We'll do hot or not. Okay? Hot or not.
Okay.
Well, that was what you originally said that we were going to do.
Yeah, I know, but then I wanted to try and measure them more
mix it up and...
All right.
It's because he doesn't have to
So,
answer any
Throw
questions.
a spanner in the works.
Scott Darling. Hot or not?
Not.
Correct. Currently has a save percentage of 891. And a goals against...
Better than mine in professional hockey, so...
He is being paid $4 million, though.
I got paid 4 cans
Pound.
of beer. So 4 cans of beer.
£4. So, let's find someone who's a little bit higher. Carey Price. Hot or not?
Not
Not.
hot.
No.
Neither is defence.
904. What's surprising is goals against 2.97. Bad times. Let's go a little closer to home. Anton Forsberg.
Not.
Correct. 907. Equally as crap. Right. Matt Murray.
Not.
Correct. 908. What's shocking about Matt Murray is that he is on the same save percentage as two people that, as a goalie, you never want to be associated with. And that is Jakob Markstrom, who, well, maybe he's had some good games that I just neglected to watch, but he always looks like someone has cut holes in his gloves before he goes out.
He's a first-string goalie. Like he's
in what league?
He's a Jakob Markstrom, isn't he?
He's Jakob Markstrom, yeah. And Jake Allen is the other one, by the way, who's also got 908 save percentage. And wow, boy, they made a wrong choice there, especially when they have a UFA at the end of the year who has currently got the overall highest save percentage of anybody who's played more than 21 games. And want to guess who that is? Chris? I'll make it fair.
I don't bloody remember his name. He's doing well.
Plays at the Blues.
Hutton,
there you go. Carl Hutton. Safe at 940 save percentage. 1.8 goals against.
It's quite good.
Where's the best in the league?
Quite good. You should
quite
kill
good.
for that, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marc-Andre Fleury.
Hot.
Good
Even
trade,
though
Penguins.
Even though he's flailing around like an idiot when he's in the goal, he stops the puck. So
Well,
I do like him, man.
On average, only lets in 2 goals a night, mate. So 933 save percentage.
933. Wow.
One down, although games played is... actually, no, games played is the same as Fleury, even though which is surprising, is our man, Mr. Crawford, who probably isn't going to come back this season, but currently 929 save percentage. That's the reason why we were only in contention before he went.
That's the thing. That's like the Montreal effect, like the price effect of Montreal. Like when it's covered up so much over the years that when the wheels have fell off and they're like, oh my god, what's wrong? And everybody can see what was wrong. But well, Crawford being injured, like Price being injured a few seasons ago.
I agree. So, it's like the spine of your team just gets ripped out.
So then next year you'll be all right, and then the year after you'll be terrible because Crawford. It's just how it goes. It's Montreal blueprint.
That's fine. As long as we have one all right season, I'm okay with that. So, and it goes along with those predictions I made last time we were on here when I said we're going to win it in 2019.
Yeah, that's going to fall on its arse, isn't it?
Probably.
What win the draft lottery?
Henrik. What about Henrik?
Hot.
Obviously.
Hot.
I don't know about him, you know. He was hot, and he's having a bit of a mare at the moment, isn't he?
I mean, the guy's still a model, so he's hot on that instance, but he's not, in terms of his play, he's well off.
He's calling.
Yes, definitely.
Do you think maybe we're starting to see in him, because if you look at this, right, I know you can't see, so I'm saying look at this, but I'm holding it in front of my face. There are some goalie names down at this bottom half, which to me shouldn't be there, right? Lundqvist is one. Schneider is another. Matt Murray, but we'll put him to one side because I don't think he's part of this. You've got Price down there. You've got where is he? Jones down there as well. Okay, and is this, do you think, a sign now that some of these goaltenders, I'm not classing some of the other ones I've mentioned by the way, like Jones in this category, but some of the older ones. So do you think that now maybe they're starting to hit that hill? Because as I've just been shown, which is why there was a momentary pause, Eric Lundqvist is 35 years old. Is it really, do you think now we're starting to see that maybe he can't play 70-odd games?
I think it's different between like Price and Lundqvist and Jones and Schneider. I think they're coming up to they've been a starter for a few years now, and maybe that's taking toll on their bodies, whereas Price and Lundqvist been doing it for a decade, and I think they're just having bad seasons. Them two. Well, I don't think Lundqvist and Price particularly having bad seasons. I think their team's having bad seasons, and they just can't control the spiral.
I suppose it's whether they're still fit enough to play as many games as what they're playing as they get older.
See, that's a concerning thing with Carey Price just signing an 8-year deal till he's 38 years old or 39 for $10 million. It's a bit of a concern.
Had to be done.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't say, okay, no, we're not signing you, and then imagine we haven't signed him, and we're this bad this season, the cloud of doom which will be hanging over his team. Oh my God, we're going to trade Carey Price, and he's 10 wins away from being the all-time leader in wins for the Montreal Canadiens, and it would be absolute carnage.
It would be riots in the streets of Montreal rather than London. So, so the thing that I was showing a minute ago is actually a really good question, which I'm going to pose to the two of you, and that is, we know that Rangers are exploding their team. They haven't hidden that fact. In fact, actually, hats off to the ownership for coming out and just saying it. Because I think for all the fans that have paid a lot of money, I mean, they're not going to see any of it back, but at least they know where they stand.
Yeah,
and
at least they've been transparent with the fans. Yeah.
Exactly. So where do you think that leaves Lundqvist? Because he's 35. Realistically, if they start to build now, you're talking maybe 3 years away from a cup.
Yeah.
He ain't going to be there, surely.
I can see like maybe 3 teams which he could fit in. I reckon New York Islanders would be a good shout for him personally as well, because it's still New York, so he doesn't have to move. But I don't know, New York Rangers asked for Thomas Greiss, Josh Hosang, and a first round pick or something. They've got a decent young goalie-ish, a good young forward, and a first round pick. I don't know, it's an option. But
no, sorry, I'm going to pick up on what you just said. I'm going to read you Thomas Greiss's stats.
He's playing on a bad defensive team. He's a decent-ish goalie.
Scott Darling has a better save percentage.
Yeah, Scott Darling, but Thomas Greiss. I don't know, but just something like that, like a team like
Chris
that.
the Caveman Gill, I think you have a better save percentage than Thomas Greiss at the moment. But anyway,
or like just a team like that, or a team like St. Louis, who's probably going to be competing in the next few years for a Stanley Cup. Who's got the youth. They can move.
They've got a side Carter Hutton. I mean, I think Jake Allen, you've just got to cut their losses.
Yeah.
When the guy has had, how many years are they going to give him?
Oh,
he showed to me last season that maybe mentally he's not strong enough. And that's no disrespect
they
to
gave
the guy.
him time off. Like he had to have. They gave him like hiatus. He just went away for 2 weeks and said, "Just go sit on the beach middle of the season. We'll pay you. Just go away and get your head back." He came back and was okay. It's not like
the goaltender position. I mean, this is where I'm going to put this back to the goaltender in the room here. It all falls on you, doesn't it? Like if you have a bad night, everyone knows about it. If you're a centre and you have a bad night, you can hide. Well, maybe not a centre because you could be awful at face-offs, but give or take as outfield play, you can an on-ice play, you can hide. Whereas
the easiest
you've got to be
thing
mentally
to do.
strong, haven't you, as a goaltender? Because you've got to be able to, if you have a rough night where you give 6 up, next night you've got to be able to go, right, I'm resetting.
Yeah, the easiest thing in the world to do is make the goalie a scapegoat, and I've done it before, and you're saying, "Oh, it's because the goalie's shit" or something. But then there's a reason why this goalie is terrible. Sometimes it is because he's terrible, but is it because his team in front of him's not very good, or is it this? But you have to just try to blank it out. I'm playing beer league in the UK, playing against Surrey Hall. I got lit up for 9 goals or something. And then my friend said, "Oh, people are roasting you online." So I had a look and I was like, "Oh my God, why do these people care this much?" For one, but and I seen them, and I just said to her, I was like, "I've got work tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh, I can't be fucked for this," and I quit. And so I'm dealing with this, but you have to be even that aspect of it. But when you're on the ice or on the rink or whatever, and you let a bad one in, you just have to ignore it and just say, "Oh, I'm going to get the next one." Because on the rink, I think mentally I'm reasonably alright. since I matured a bit, but not when I was younger and I was looking on Twitter and looking at these people saying, just that an under 12 goalie, he'll be better than this guy. Wow.
Oh.
Poor Chris. Well, mate, I've seen you put in some good performances. So.
Oh, he does every now and again, don't you? I think they should keep him. Play him less games, and get somebody else in under him that can kind of back him up a little bit.
Like a protege as well underneath him.
Yeah.
So a young goalie. Like, you've done it before. Look at Ranta. Like, he was back up to Lundqvist for a couple of years maybe, and
Crawford, yeah.
And like, say, he's learnt, and then he's gone on. Say, like Charlie Lindgren in Montreal is going to be learning from Price, and it could be a situation where like Jones was back up to quick and he got traded. There's another one, can't remember who it was.
Scott Darling.
Well, yeah. There's Corey Schneider, he was behind Luongo. There's a few of them who've gone on to be starters, like Cam Talbot. Like, he was at New York behind Lundqvist as well, and it's worked before, and they've gained massively from them trades. So maybe try to find another young goalie who can take the workload off him, who's going to get better.
Because he's good. He's good. When he's on it, he's really on it.
Yeah, in the playoffs, he's unbelievable in the playoffs. Because he gets that second wind, but in the last season,
But it's a lot of games for someone of that age, and especially if he is propping up a team, you need some sort of help.
I wonder how many years he has left on his deal, though, because that's going to be... It's all right, like you said about Charlie Lindgren, but the reason why these players have moved on is because the person they've been under as their protege has got a longer contract than they have, and they've been stuck. And one of the advantages of if you were Anton Forsberg, this isn't going to happen, by the way, but if he had have got to a point by the end of his current contract that he was good enough to be a star, well, Crawford's contract would have ended and you'd have just switched.
Yeah,
that's never going to happen because Forsberg, there's more chance of me being the Chicago starter goalie than him. Sorry, there is. I've not seen anything. Like, he has the occasional night, but there's just no consistency. And as Robert Leonard proves year after year, consistency makes a goaltender good or rubbish. So it's hard, isn't it? It's a bit of a balancing act. But Pavlik, they've got as their backup at the moment. There's no way they can have him as a starter, is there?
No. I mean, you look at Winnipeg, they got rid of Pavlik, and now they've got Hellebuck, who's probably one of the best goalies in the league this season again. Wow. A new guy who's up there, one of the best goalies in the league, just like Hutton in St. Louis. It's just going to change. Like, I think that's what the league's like nowadays. Like, maybe not in the goal scoring race, it's always going to be the same guys up there, but with the teams who are going to be going for the playoffs and the goalies who are doing the best, I think because the league's that similar now, everyone, except from Arizona and Buffalo, who are really terrible. Obviously, they beat Montreal, but I think there's nobody. It's
funny you mention that because I was reading something on a comment on the Athletic site the other day, right, where someone had said about league parity, and they were actually whinging about it, saying that league parity is the reason why the Hawks are so bad. You know, Gary Bettman's league parity is what it said, and I thought I agree with everything else that she'd put, but this one bit. For someone who knows what happens to sport when you don't have a salary cap, I'm thinking, don't hate it, because trust me, the other side is a lot worse, where it all becomes a race of whoever has the biggest backed owner wins the league.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like the years, obviously, a Montreal fan, but the years when Montreal were winning it, they had the richest team in the league, like, and they were winning it. Like, obviously, that's because the development that's back then, it was completely different, but still they could, and then they brought the cap in and they still won a bit, but obviously it just makes it an even playing field. And then you look at, if you do look at the Premier League, Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man U, Liverpool, and then Leicester win it one year and it's world news. Like, I don't know, if in 2 years' time Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup from being at the bottom, nobody's going to be like, oh wow, wow, they will. They'll be in. Well, they will.
I know, but you know what I mean.
So they're going to be amazed, but they're like, oh, this happens in the NHL, and I don't know, the Pittsburgh Penguins could be a lottery team. It just happens, and I think it's better. So,
and yeah, exactly. I mean, until the Penguins last year, no one had ever repeated a Stanley Cup victory. In the salary cap era, I'm going to caveat that with you.
I was going to say,
and that you're going to prove me wrong. In the salary cap era, and I think to me that's a good thing. I don't want to lose that. I might not like everything that Gary Bettman did, but I like league parity, and anyone that doesn't.
Any game, I don't know, if you're watching Vegas versus Arizona, you don't know what the score's going to be. You don't know who's going to win. If you're watching Man City versus Burnley, I'm pretty sure Man City are going to score 5 past them and probably win. So,
yeah, exactly. Although when I watched Arizona versus Chicago, I was not expecting that. Never mind.
We were hoping that we weren't going to get that. No. I think more so.
That's pretty terrible, wasn't it? That was the one with the back check, which I was on about earlier. It was not pretty. Oh well, at least you might get top 5 pick.
That is true, actually. There was something you wanted to mention that you spotted in a game recently.
Oh, what, the one last night versus...
Smith Pelly, yeah.
Yeah, oh, wow. Chicago fans doing the City proud.
2 Chicago fans.
Yeah, well, they were saying racial slurs to him, weren't they? Well, just saying basketball or something along them lines to him, which is obviously, well, it doesn't take a genius to
work out what they've done there, yeah. So they're clearly bright sparks. So.
Yeah, and he's just, he stood up and I think he gave him a bit of shit back, rightfully so, and he squirted him with a water bottle, so serves them right, and then they probably deserve more than a water bottle in the face, and I bet they wouldn't have said it if the plexiglass wasn't there.
I agree. So, and I bet if the plexiglass wasn't there, he'd have given more than a water bottle, and he'd have been right to do so as well. The irony is that hockey for everyone is the thing that's weak, and then you have something like that, and it just shows how far we've still got to come.
They did get kicked out after that, though, didn't
they? Yeah, they got, because I don't think, because obviously he mentioned it to the timekeeper, and I think the timekeeper heard it as well. I mean, obviously he's got to carry on, he's got to go back out in 30 seconds or whatever, Devante Smith-Pelly has. So then I think the timekeeper interval, whistle, got the security to come down and he kicked them all out. I think there's 2 people in the group who were doing it, but then I think the whole group just got kicked out. I suppose they've got lifetime bans from NHL arenas. So
I don't disagree with that at all.
So people were moaning about the NHL, but I don't understand what they're meant to do. How can you stop a couple of arseholes coming into a rink? You can't. And there's obviously, and then people are saying, we'll say this isn't a good look for NHL. Obviously it's not, but you get it with football, you'll probably get it everywhere, and it's horrible, but I can't understand how it's the NHL's fault, but somebody probably correct me.
I think the reality is it's how you deal with it.
Yeah,
you can't prevent it. It shouldn't happen. Obviously, it shouldn't happen. I'd like to think in 2018 we're in a world where this crap doesn't happen, but the reality is we are not. I think they did the right thing dealing with it.
Kicked them out. They released a statement earlier saying they support what the NHL said. We support everything which has happened. We support everybody who's opposed it, basically, saying we support everything they're doing and saying. So they'll come out and saying there's no place in this sport for comments like that. So and that's all they can do. They can ban these people and say that. What else are they going to do? Start a witch hunt or something?
You can't. Unfortunately, moronic behaviour like that, nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, but those guys they're essentially at work, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're going there to do their job, and they don't deserve to be spoken to like that by anybody.
So it's a bit of
it's chirping, and then there's just racism.
Yeah, the thing is, it is a bit of a problem in the NHL in the past. So when Simmons has had abuse thrown at, I think he was playing a pre-season game in Quebec City, and somebody threw a banana on the ice, which is just terrible. Yeah. And then it's happened to PK Subban and then it's happened to Joel Ward, and I think it's happened to a few people, all of colour, and it's just not right, and you'd hope it's going to stop eventually. But that's the thing, all it takes is a few dicks to do something, and then everybody thinks it's
the minority that ruins it for everyone else, isn't it? So, yeah. There you go. Wow, we've just had a very sorry note, haven't we? Is there anything else that you guys want to cover whilst you've got the mic is yours if you want?
I'm making my way back into fantasy. I'm making my way back into playoff contention in fantasy hockey. Mark Scheifel's come back for me from his injury. Been doing well. Kucherov's got through his slump where I think he was only getting a point a night instead of 3 or 4. So doing well, and Vasilevsky is playing like he was. See what save he did from behind him.
I heard he was out of position.
He was out of position. no. He, to be fair, he came across, his pad was planted against the post, and his blocker was there, but he seen it was going behind him, and he just twisted and I've made a few saves like that. So it's not that tricky, but
yeah, mate. I've
So my team, I'm playing the person who's in 8th spot. I'm playing this week, and I'm in 9th, and I think I'm 2 points up on him. So I'll overtake him. I'll be back in there. Trade deadline's coming up for us as well soon, so I might need to make some moves.
Well, you saw the moves I made. I pretty much.
You're rebuilding, ain't you?
I got rid of all my. Chicago players except one, the cat. He's the man. He is. I like. He doesn't get enough. Man, he doesn't get enough talk. I mean, other than me talking about him.
He's doing all right. Second round pick, and he's made it the year later. Fair play to him. So that's Montreal's pick.
He is the joint top goal scorer in the franchise.
Yeah,
it says a lot, doesn't it? But then
doesn't say much about the rest, obviously. But
when you look at Lekanen for Montreal last year, he's got 20 goals, and now he's got 3. So sophomore slump's going to happen.
No. The cat, mate. He's here to stay. So, right, well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. Thank you for listening on the various platforms. Obviously, for those that are listening on one of these, you can catch us on iTunes, Stitcher, and 12 Ounce Sports Radio. We love to hear some feedback and stuff on the show, and obviously we do special episodes and stuff, so if there's anything you guys want us to particularly cover, or if you just want to get in touch with the show, please do, at theoffensivezone@outlook.com. And that's really it from us here, so I'll give you two chances to say goodbye.
See you later, guys and girls.
Bye.
Been a pleasure.
Yep, see you soon, guys. Bye.